Hello, this is I Go Travel with Don Barnett. We are going to a sheep festival. Just take a look at this. There they go, right down Main Street. And there's the shepherd's truck and the first RV. Let's find out about that. Yes, sir, the world's first RV right there. We are in southern Idaho, in the communities of Ketchum, Sun Valley, and Haley. And we are at the Trailing of the Sheep Festival. In part one, we saw things at the festival. In part two here, we're going to dig a little deeper into actually working with the sheep. Let's start off on a positive note. Get this answer right to this question, and it'll save you the price of admission for watching this video. Here's the question. Which country in the world has the most sheep? I'll give you the answer in a minute. You know, one thing I liked about this festival, there was a chance to meet and talk with some people who had been directly involved in the sheep raising industry. It took you beyond just the seeing and looking level. These were three ranchers involved in a lifelong activity of both the business side and the political side of sheep raising. They told stories of sheep ranching and answered questions. And speaking of questions, which country in the world has the most sheep? China, far and away, with 175 million head of sheep. Number one in the world. Second is India, less than half that number of those in China. And then West Africa's Nigeria is in third place, and various countries, numerous ones in the Middle East, to come in next. In North America, we're not even close in numbers, but we do have sheep here. And we've got good music here too.
Lingered there, touched your hair, walked with me.
And there was nothing wrong with the entertainment either.
All summer long, we sang a song, then we strolled on golden sand.
You just don't understand what a woman needs from a man. Though you've given me all those things money can buy.
Let's go out to the dog trials. Most dogs were border collies, but any dog breed is eligible. The dog is on his way to round up the sheep. The dog has spotted the little herd of sheep at the far end of the field, and he's bringing them in. The dog has to bring the herd of sheep through a series of gates and into a pen. Points are deducted if the dog barks or snaps at the sheep, or if the handler uses too many excessive commands. Handlers command the dogs to go, crouch down, or move to the left or right with a series of different whistles. The dogs are timed for getting the sheep into the little pen there, but sometimes they get close and they hesitate and don't just want to go in. I've got another question for you. Which U.S. state has the most number of sheep? What do you think? Healy has some nice statues downtown. Yes, sir, this is sheep country. Plaques commemorate events and people, and quite a few plaques I noticed were for the dogs. The sheepherder out in the back country and alone has two kinds of dogs with him. One kind is the herding dogs, and the other are guard dogs. Nightfall can come fast in the high country, and the sheep are out there. And so are the wolves, and the coyotes, and the bears. That's when the guard dogs start to do their job. But predators can come day or night. I'd like to know the story behind this plaque. Wildfire is another danger in the backcountry. I would love to know the story behind this plaque too. These dogs are dedicated and will sacrifice their lives for their sheep and their sheep herders. How many humans would have that kind of a high attribute that you know? Here is the answer to that question about which state has the most number of sheep. Both Texas and California are high, with 700,000 head of sheep, and Wyoming comes in third with about 340,000 head. Here's another question. If you could take all of the farm animals and count them up, what kind of animals do you think would be the highest number on all of the farms in the U.S.? Now, count both the birds and animals. Give that question some thought while we walk over to where they're shearing the sheep. The sheep shearer is sharpening his blades. You have to have sharp blades. Here is the answer to that question about the biggest number of farm animals. If you count birds, just look here, 10 billion chickens, no comparison. But next comes in line cattle, 1.4 billion, and they grouped sheep and hogs together at 1 billion. So let's say 500 million for sheep, and compared to more than double or 3 times that for cattle. All right, let's do what they're doing in this picture here. We are shearing the sheep. This sheep looks about as uncomfortable as me sitting in the barber chair. They work through a particular pattern from one end to the other of the sheep, and the sheep just enjoy the feeling of getting rid of that thick wool stuff as summer comes. Now this is the second shearing of these sheep because it's fall time here, and they're doing this work as a demonstration for us. But if you don't shear this wool off, ticks will get in and other parasites, and eventually could lead to the death of a sheep. So the shearing is a welcome thing as far as the sheep is concerned. There's just no pain at all. It's just a good feeling, just like you and me getting a nice haircut. I timed this guy at about 3.5 minutes, but he, like others, can go through a sheep faster than that. Time depends on how much wool and sometimes on the animal itself a bit, but this guy's all done and feels good. He's ready to go. And it's just a matter of opening up the gate and putting him back in with the other sheep. And it looks like one more to go. Sheep shearing is hard on your pants. Look how this clipper has clipped this guy's pant legs as he's worked with the sheep. You people who like to go RVing and camping, have you ever wondered what the first RV was like? Well, look no further than the sheepherder's wagon. The earlier ones had spoked wheels, but rubber tires now, and essential stuff was hung on the outside. Lanterns. They come in various shapes. A metal roof. A canvas-covered one. Just like RVs today, a comfortable bed. A stove, usually a wood burner. Often there was 2 men per camp, and they were out in the high country with the sheep for 1 to 2 weeks. It is a solitary life with only your dog, your horses, and the sheep. A broom and a metal pan for shaving and washing were attached to the outside of this sheep wagon. Cups and plates were all metal so they wouldn't break. And a Dutch oven where stews and soups could be readily cooked, either on the top of the stove or over a campfire. And that was a common item in the sheep wagon. Before we go to the big sheep parade, I've got a final question for you. And if you get the answer right, you won't have to pay the price of admission for watching this video. Here's the question. If you traveled all over the world, what would be the meat that you would most likely get served? If you traveled to all of the countries, what is the most widely eaten meat in the world? Think about that, and I'll give you the answer. People put their chairs out for the parade the night before. The cars will be gone in the morning, and there'll be 1,000 head of sheep here. We're all waiting for the sheep to come down the street. But first we get to see the rest of the parade. These dancers were from Peru, descendants and helpers currently up in the high country as sheep herders. And we saw their music in the other video. These were the Basque people from Spain, certainly an international flavor to this festival. These are the Scottish, and a horse riding club, a local one. I believe the Carnival Queen was on these horses, and the original RVs, here they come, before the engine was put in them. Just brought down from the high country before winter sets in. And here come the stars of the show. 1,500 head of sheep walking right down Main Street, organized, nobody out of line, following those two leaders with the red halters on their nose. There's no out of line people. These were exotic sheep trying to get licensed in the U.S., but this is the main herd right here. Look at that. If our politicians could only be as well organized and cooperative as these sheep, we'd all be a lot better off. Maybe we should put sheep into leadership positions. There's the dogs. They're down from the high country too, and they know their job, walking right along with the herd. There they go. There's another herd dog. There were no dogs allowed on the streets when the sheep came through, and everyone followed the rules. There they go. What a sight. And what a festival. A unique happening. They're rolling on into the low country for the winter. Remember, I asked you a question. What was the most widely eaten meat in the world? And if you get the question right, you get to have a free ticket. So again, what's the most widely eaten meat across the world? Here's the answer. Goat meat. Goat meat? Goat meat. Well, I guess that just goes to show you there's no such thing as a free lunch for most of us. But nevertheless, what a festival. What a time we had. I made another video on this sheep festival that is in this channel as well. You may have seen it. And I made another sheep video about a woolen mill in the province of Alberta. And in that video, I tell a few stories about the days when I raised sheep. And that video is in the Alberta playlist. To find those other videos, just Google, as it says near the bottom, the little @ sign, Don Barnett 5090, click my name and hit the word playlists. Each playlist contains several travel videos. In the meantime, we're rolling on. Hit the subscribe button and that'll tell you when we're putting more videos on the internet. And we're going to be doing that. In the meantime, we're rolling on. Adios for now. This is I Go Travel with Don Barnett.